Hey guys, sorry for that. We had some temporary technical difficulties. Okay, so so getting right back to what we're going to do here, we're going to actually answer another question here before we go to social media. So Ian from California had a question. Go ahead, Ian.
Hello. Thank you guys for taking my call.
Sure.
I very much appreciate what you guys do here. I'll just jump right into it. I've been doing keto for about 14 months. I started at 294 pounds, and I'm down under 200 now, so I'm down about 95.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel like a brand new person. I guess I am a brand new person. 11 of the last pounds have been within the past 3 months, so I'm slowing down and tapering down. My concern is my lipid panel results. So I could just rattle these off for you. Back in August, I got it done, and the total went from 265 to 281 to last week 344. Triglycerides went from 68 to 46 to 40 last week. HDL went from 44 to 52 to 61. And then LDL went from 208 to 220 to 275.
Okay.
So, the LDL and the totals, it went up. But I went back and watched your video talking about cholesterol, and I looked at the triglyceride HDL ratio, which would be 40 over 61, which is 0.65, which is less than 2, which you say is great. So I guess I'm just needing some words of wisdom from Dr. Berg.
Well, I'm glad that you brought this up because I was going to talk about this topic anyway. Might as well bring it up right now, Ian. So just listen and take notes. Okay, you ready? Ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. So here's the thing, guys. I want to talk about why your cholesterol could go up on a ketogenic diet. First of all, Karen.
Yes.
When you know what LDL is?
Bad.
Yeah, and what typically people think when the LDL goes up when you get your blood vessel?
When you get a blood vessel?
Blood test.
LDL up means that's really, really bad.
And what is it doing to the body?
It's hurting the body.
It's clogging up arteries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to get rid of all the fat in your diet.
Okay, good. So that's where it actually is totally 100%, 110% false. That is not how it works. So let me explain something, guys. So you got LDL, so-called bad cholesterol, and HDL, good cholesterol. They're not even cholesterol. They're lipoproteins. Okay, they're proteins because the body can't transport fat without a shuttle. So if you picture this, Karen, like you have a love boat. Okay, the love boat. You remember the love boat?
Yes, I loved it.
Okay, so the love boat is like the LDL.
Okay.
Because they're shuttles. So LDL and HDL are two love boats. One's going out to sea, and that is basically the LDL. And the one that's coming back from sea back to the liver is the HDL, the so-called good cholesterol. So that's really, they're shuttles. So they're kind of cruise liners, right? So if you take a look at LDL, inside LDL, you have cargo. The primary cargo is basically triglycerides. Triglycerides. That's basically fuel for the body. Those triglycerides are used for energy to turn through ketones and fatty acids. So that's the primary goal of LDL. But there's also some secondary goals in there too. There's cholesterol in there, there's fat-soluble vitamins, there's antioxidants, there's all sorts of stuff. So the primary purpose of that cholesterol in the LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, is to go and repair the artery damage. And because here's the thing, like people have this idea that cholesterol is like going out into the body and then clogging things up. No, that's not how it works because the lining of the arteries have little receptors for LDL. They're called LDL receptors that reach out and grab the cholesterol when they need it, if there's damage. So the primary purpose of LDL is to provide fuel, and secondary purpose is to help repair damage in the artery wall. So Karen, you think the body makes LDL, right?
Right.
So if it's considered bad, why would your body make it? Is it a mistake?
No,
No.
I think
There's a reason for it.
there's a reason.
Your body has receptors for it. So it's actually reaching out and grabbing it when you need it, because the body would much rather have like a patch over a hole than an actual hole in your wall, right? I mean, you wouldn't want to necessarily have a hole in your wall. You want to patch it up. So the cholesterol comes in there to patch the hole in the artery with calcium as kind of a spackling thing. And so if there's damage in the wall, you can actually have that occur and your body's just trying to heal it. So the LDL is not the criminal, it's in the crime scene, but it's not, it's just passing through to help you, okay? Now when you do a ketogenic diet, you're basically running your body on ketones, okay? You're running your body on fat fuel and triglycerides. It's the blood fat, that's what's in the fat cell. So it's gonna be coming out and it's gonna be going into the body to be used as fuel. The key thing, Karen, is that if your triglycerides are low, this means that your body is using them, you're using them as fuel. So it's totally fine to have high LDL as long as your cholesterol, your triglycerides are low, which yours are, and your HDL is high. It's totally fine. You just have to really understand the mechanism. Probably what's happening is you actually lost all this weight, and then now what's happening is a lot of the excess triglycerides that were in your fat cell are mobilized as fuel, and now your cholesterol is high because your body's finally dumping that from the fat cells, because at some point it's to start dumping the reserve of cholesterol. So you really have nothing to worry about, especially if your triglycerides are low and your HDL is high. It's a normal thing. Your body's just trying to heal whatever. The key is to eat really healthy as far as a lot of vegetables and the kale shake, just to kind of make sure there's no more holes or damage in the artery wall, which basically came from high levels of insulin. Okay? There's a video I'm going to release on this by Dave Feldman. He's a great guy. You can look him up. He's an engineer, and he's like the human pincushion. He's doing like live experiments, and it's just amazing data. Okay, so I hope I answered that, Ian. Thanks for the question. Let's go to Suresh from Toronto. You had a question. Go ahead, Suresh.
Hi, Dr. Berg. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. I'll get straight to the point. I don't want to waste time. I did keto about 2 years ago for 6 months, and it worked well. I lost like 40 pounds. It was so good.
Good.
And I got out of keto, and I started in the normal way of living again, and I gained so much weight. I'm about 190 pounds now. I have to lose 30 pounds. Mm-hmm. But 6 months ago, when I've taken off all the sugars out of my body, what's happening? I'm getting depressed. Close to suicidal, but I'm not suicidal. And the doctor said you need some SSRI. But I don't want to get into the pills. So I got back on my food again. Everything's normal. No more depression, nothing. That was my first problem.
Okay.
And the second problem is when I take kale, celery, cucumber, I mix it. I make a juice of it. I mean, like smoothie, and I drink it.
Yeah.
When I drink too much, I think 2 glasses of it. I drink it, and I get diarrhea in about half hour or so. When I get diarrhea, I get dehydrated, and I get migraine with aura, which I get blind almost.
Okay. Okay.
So these are my symptoms, actually.
Well, let's take the first one first. Okay. So when you're depressed when you get on keto, all that means is that you're very low on B vitamins. So there's something going on with your gut that could either probably not allowing you to absorb them. So a good probiotic would help you. Something like maybe called Effective Microbes. You can find it online. It's a really good one. But start taking a lot of nutritional yeast. That should help bring your mood back up. The other thing is, which I think is complicating things, you're eating certain vegetables that your body obviously does not have the enzymes for or don't have the microbes for yet. So you're going to have to substitute your vegetables for a completely different type of line of vegetables. Maybe something like regular greens, like lettuce greens, instead of some kale and celery that you have a problem digesting. Just switch it over. That's the simple way, because when you have diarrhea, you're going to basically wipe out a lot of the fluids and acids, and that alone could throw off your electrolytes big time, especially potassium. And so now you actually are aggravating the condition because you're going to be dehydrated because you're losing your electrolytes and the fluids and the acids, and now you can't pull in the minerals. So you have to replenish that probably with some good lactic acid, things like kombucha tea, things like that. So, and add some more fermented vegetables. So take more B vitamins, okay, number one. And number two, switch your vegetables to things that aren't going to cause diarrhea. All right, good question. All right, Karen.
Hey, okay, so first I'm going to say, if Facebook people can hear, you may want to go to YouTube. There's a little technical difficulty. Sorry about that. You never know in this world of media where there's bugs or not bugs, so thanks for hanging in. And
now, if you like, folks, we can restart once again and try Facebook up. You want to do that?
okay, our producer is suggesting that we restart again. Dr. Berg?
All right, guys, you know
Guys,
what? Just
you're in this
hold on
adventure
30
with us.
seconds. Do it really fast. Let's
Yeehaw.
reboot this thing and try to
Okay.
get this thing on.
Everyone stay put.
Unfortunately,
Stay put.
this. All right, we're back.
Wow.
All right, Karen, did you want to give a shout out, or do you want me to take a question? Because you're right in the middle of giving a shout out.
That's right in the middle of trying to say something. Thanks for your patience, guys. Yeah, well, first of all, shout out. Last I saw, it was Australia, Romania, all over the United States, British Columbia, Texas, New Jersey, Wisconsin. Dr. Berg, you want to shout it out to the home?
Hopefully they're from Kenosha.
The homeland?
Yeah, Cheesehead.
Cheesehead. California, Arizona, just all over the place. I have a question, though. So Jamie wants to know, is too much lettuce going to kick you out of ketosis?
I think this is a good question because we run into people who are either having some diarrhea or constipation, or they basically can bump you out of ketosis. But here's the thing. If your metabolism is moderate to good, you can do large amounts of vegetables, okay? But there is a point where, like I recommend a lot of vegetables, like 10 cups, right? And there's very few people that will do that. Sometimes you get 7. It's a minor point because the amount of calories, the amount of carbs in vegetables is very, very low. However, with some people, I will say, it could slow you down a little bit. So, but it's so rare and it's such a small fraction of the population, I would stick with the vegetables first. And then if you really need to alter them, go for it. But there are, and I have a video on this, you want, if you have regular greens like lettuce and stuff and celery, it's just so few carbs in there that it's very unlikely. But some of the other things like maybe like squash and might be an issue, maybe cauliflower, possibly for certain people. So you can try to maybe reduce those and see if you actually lose more weight. If you do, then ride with it, cut it down, get down to your ideal weight, and then add them back in. All right? All right, Karen, do you want to ask another question?
I am dying to ask this question.
Go for it.
Do you know about, or what are your thoughts on the snake diet?
Yeah, there's a guy that uses a lot of swear words.
Is it
online.
a snake diet? Like, what are you eating, snake?
No.
What is it?
It's basically the snake diet. It's this guy who basically
is he the really antagonistic,
he's a very antagonistic
guy
guy
who's like screaming at you?
Yeah, he's
cursing
screaming at you. So that's his diet, the snake diet. So that's what that's all about.
Who watches this stuff?
You do.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
I clicked past it one
just
time
kidding.
because you sent it to me,
I'm
and I
just
thought
teasing.
it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think I don't really watch his videos, so I don't really comment on that.
Okay.
So do you have any other comments? Any questions?
Other questions? Yeah. We get this sometimes. Somebody's asking, what if they're adrenal and liver body type? Remember the body types?
Yep. Yeah, so if you're adrenal and liver, here's the thing about that, guys. You want to get the basic protocol in there, like healthy keto and intermittent fasting. Don't even worry about the body types. And then once you get going, then you can tweak it. It's right in the book, right? This book right here, which all of you have. And then I go into specifically what body type you should do, but some people are a mixed body type. And the The problem, if you're adrenal and liver, for example, the question is, what do? Do you focus more on the liver or adrenal? Well, in here I talk about it, but if you have a choice, you want to go for the adrenal first, because that's usually more of a priority than the liver. But even if you mess up and focus on the liver, you're still going to get improvement because everything is connected. The hip bone's connected to the thigh bone, but typically the adrenal one is the real big one as far as a priority because of stress can dominate everything else because it produces cortisol. Yeah.
It is the dominator.
So,
The dominator.
so let's go right to Rachel from California. I think you had a question that we may have just already answered, but go ahead, Rachel.
Yes, I ended up in urgent care. I called you last week because the diarrhea just wouldn't stop. It was all liquid.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I ate bacon and cheese, grilled cheese. I would get diarrhea right away as soon as I ate that food. And so I don't know if I have to stop it or what could I do for that.
So I have a question. You were eating a certain way, and then all of a sudden something you ate triggered the diarrhea. Is that right?
Well, no. It started with eating the salads. I had 6 salads a day, and then after that diarrhea started, I was still doing the keto, and it just kept getting worse, watery.
This is what I think that happened, Rachel. I think there was some type of microbe in that salad. You see this all the time where, you know, they're doing recalls on spinach and salad. There are microbes that live in the soil, and you can get these like E. coli, and then boom, you get diarrhea. That's the #1 symptom, and it can last for a long time. It can throw off the whole system, because typically most people don't have a problem with salads unless there's some other issue. Now, if you've never ate salad before in your life, then that's a whole different scene. But chances are, I think there's a microbe. So I would probably get an evaluation on your maybe a stool sample to see if there is a microbe in there that's disrupting everything. And then you're going to have to consume things like some kefir, blackberries, but not a lot of other foods, maybe some type of fiber to kind of slow the process down right now, even psyllium seed until things can get under control. Check with your doctor on that, because we have to settle that down before you start eating, because you wiped out your flora. And so you definitely need to start taking probiotics big time right now to put that back. When I've done colonics and colemas and different cleansing things, you know, after a period of time, I can't just go back to regular eating. I have to slowly build up. I'll do soup, I'll do fermented foods for a day, and then I'll gradually start adding bigger foods, because you don't have the microbes to digest bacon right now. So go ahead and do that, Rachel. All right, good. So I need to go to Ruth. She's been waiting. She's in Texas. Go ahead, Ruth.
Good morning, Dr. Berg. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I have been on keto since August of last year.
Okay.
I've gone from size 16, 18 to size 8. When I started keto...
That's well done. That's our party. That's our party bell. That's our celebration bell.
Oh, wonderful. When I started keto, I was depressed, lethargic, had gallstones, diabetes, all the normal stuff that the American diet does for us.
Right.
But I am finally to a point now. I mean, I worked on healing my stomach first with the colostrum, with the L-glutamine, doing the probiotics and using the fermented vegetables. And now I have all this energy that I want to go swimming and biking and hiking and do yoga, but my adrenals wake me up at 3 in the morning. Now, when I first started, I took the adrenal support, and it took me down too much. It made me very tired. So I switched to the adrenal fatigue, added the L-tryptophan, the pantothenic acid, and finally got back up. So I'm kind of fearful to go back into the adrenal and cortisol relief, but I'd like something that I can do to keep from that 3 a.m. wake-up call? I mean, should I just wake up and do some work and go back to bed, or take a nap later in the day? Should I try the adrenal fatigue or the cortisol relief?
Yeah, good question. What you should do is take the cortisol relief about 3 o'clock in the morning when you're waking up, because it makes you tired, right?
Okay. Well, I do take the sleep aid before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And
you should probably take all of your adrenal stuff right before you go to bed, because you're right. When you wake up at 3, or 2, that's right where the adrenals are. Like, it's usually in balance with the adrenals, so you're kind of revved up. The other thing is, have you done the acupressure yet on your body?
Yes.
Okay.
Every night I have the tool, and like I said, all your products, I pretty much bought them from the beginning, and I've been using them. It's just kind of tweaking them as to when to use them, you know, and how much to use. Like the Digestion, the gallbladder formula are fabulous. I love those. The minerals. The only thing that I'm not able to do is any of the powdered drinks because of the stevia. For some reason, all the natural sugars, or not the natural, the substitute sugars, cause me, you know, stomach pain right under my rib cage.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else I've been able to use. And like I said, I have the adrenal fatigue, and I was taking it, and I had to stop taking it because my blood sugars were going up too high, and I think it had to do with overstimulating my adrenal somehow. So when I stopped taking it, the blood sugars went back down.
Yeah. So when we get this thing that's kind of, it should be better by now, you're doing all the right things, all these other indicators are better, then what I like to do at this point is pull the string, get a little more data. I would do a cortisol test. There's a great one that is a hair analysis. The cortisol hair analysis is from Canada. I've done a video on it. I don't have it offhand, but you can search it and you could find out. It's kind of like gives you an average of your cortisol level. You could do a saliva test, but make sure every 4 hours. But we need more data to see what's happening inside of your body. Is like what's happening with cortisol? Is it the like adrenaline, for example? Adrenaline could be another factor. What happens too with blood sugars, especially at night, if you have insulin resistance and the insulin was high, it can push the blood sugar down, and then the adrenal can be kicked in there in the middle of the night when the blood sugars are too low to compensate. So I think what I would do is I would do that, and then continue to tweak things, take the supplements before you go to bed, and then also go for very, very long walks, like maybe like an hour and a half in the evening. Okay? Thanks, Ruth. All right, Karen, over to you.
Okay, good. Quick question. If somebody has the old book, do they need the new one?
Yeah, you need this book here because the old book, The 7 Principles, is outdated with outdated information. This is all the new data that is, there's a lot of new data, over 1,000 hours of work and giving you the new information, which is a lot better than the old information. I'm constantly changing and improving things as we find things that work. So yeah, you need to get the new book.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And then the next question, can you talk a little bit about cheese for somebody who's a diabetic? How to handle that on the keto diet?
Well, I think cheese is good. Just make sure you don't get the low fat. You want to get the fattiest cheese you could find because the higher fat is the least amount of stimulus to insulin. And we're trying to actually decrease the need for insulin by eating certain foods. And there's a thing called an insulin scale, Karen, that glad you brought it up. It's right here. The insulin index, which is a scale of insulin, of all the foods that trigger insulin. You've heard of the glycemic index, right, Karen?
Oh, yeah.
Those are foods that increase blood sugar, but wouldn't you want to know what foods increase insulin?
Yes, I would.
Okay, good. So you can download it. There's a link down below. And it has some information about cheese as well. But, yep, that's right.
Okay, good.
All right.
What? Still me?
Over to me now. Okay,
over to you.
So one point about your vegetables. Some people, when they get salad and things, they don't always clean it. sometimes like they'll buy it from the farmer's market and they don't clean it. Sometimes it's triple washed. Well, that's fine, but you might want to get in a habit of just cleaning your vegetables because you never know what's in there. I mean, sometimes I'll like cut open the vegetables, I'll like see, oh wow, there's all sorts of things going on there. So clean those just to make sure there's no weakness. Like microbes, like little worms and fun stuff like that, Karen.
Okay. I was finding money or...
No. No, just
pair of old shorts.
Microbes.
Oh,
microbes, Karen.
Okay.
All right, so Thomas has been waiting from New York. Go ahead, Thomas. You had a question about trace minerals.
Good morning, Dr. Berg.
Good morning. Good.
I'd like to say good morning to the First Lady of Keto as well. I'm a big fan.
Hey, hi.
Dr. Berg, your electrolyte powder and your trace minerals. Could you explain the difference, please?
Yeah, big difference. The trace minerals are minerals needed in very small amounts, like selenium, like iodine, cobalt, even iron. Then you have regular minerals like electrolytes that are needed in larger amounts: potassium, calcium, magnesium, sodium. Those are the bigger minerals. And so the electrolyte powder has the bigger minerals that you need in a lot of amounts, but you know what's in the electrolytes is I put the trace minerals in there, so it kind of killed two birds with one stone. But the trace minerals do not have the other minerals in any significant amounts, and trace minerals help proteins in the body. So you would want to take the trace minerals if you wanted to strengthen your nails, your hair, your collagen. So it doesn't necessarily boost energy, but it actually helps body proteins. Good question, Thomas. I'll have to do a video on that one. All right, Karen.
Hey, what do you think about water pills?
Like diuretics?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I'm not going to answer medical questions, but the thing is, I always ask a question, why are you holding fluid in the first place? Why is the body holding fluid? Usually because you're not consuming enough potassium. So if you consume 7 to 10 cups of vegetables, you're going to find your fluid, you probably won't hold fluid very much, so the need for diuretics might not be there, but check with your doctor. How'd you like that, Karen? Did you like that answer?
I liked it a lot.
Okay, good.
Yeah?
So Rachel, you're from Ohio. You had a question. You broke your leg.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. Thanks. I was in a car accident last year, and I had tried doing keto before a long time ago, but I don't know why I keep going back on Weight Watchers, and I'm just yo-yoing with Weight Watchers, so, and my leg isn't healing, and I am morbidly obese right now. I've lost almost 100 pounds since the accident on Weight Watchers, but I'm just yo-yoing, and I'm 38, so probably doesn't help.
What leg was it, the right or left leg that you broke?
It was my left distal femur.
Wow. So you broke the distal femur.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's shattered. It's not healing, and they're telling me I need a bone graft or something.
Okay.
And I just feel like I can do something with food maybe to help it, or nutritional. I don't know if ketosis would help heal the bone or...
Yes. Can I give you my 2 cents on that?
Sure.
Okay. So first of all, you need to get some vitamin K2. K2, that's something that'll help the calcium in the bone. That's number one. Number two, the keto / intermittent fasting combination done healthily based on this book right here, okay, will greatly help in the healing and recovery process. I'm going to tell you why. Because you're going to help regulate and support insulin levels. And when you support insulin levels, the body can then start absorbing more nutrients, calcium, and the fat-soluble vitamins, and protein, which the bone needs to help heal. So that's why, like a diabetic that has blood sugar problems, they don't heal as well as people that don't have diabetes. So I think this is your answer to speed things up. Now, the problem with Weight Watchers is that you're hungry and you're up roller coastering and you're craving. When you do keto intermittent fasting, your cravings go right down, your hunger goes down, and the longer you can do intermittent fasting, your body goes into a self-cleaning mode. It starts to heal a lot faster and repair, and inflammation goes down. So bite the bullet, do it, jump right in, Rachel, and I think you're going to be happy you did that. All right, good. Over to Karen.
Hey, okay. So someone asked if fish oil breaks a fast.
Yeah, the fish oils just are not going to be enough oil to break a fast, so you're going to be totally fine doing fish oils. It's just very small amounts of oil, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. Now, what if apple cider vinegar is too acid for someone? They have some kind of condition where they're sensitive to it, swallowing it, or something like that.
Well, there's certain people that just can't do it because either they have an ulcer or they have gastritis, inflammation of the gut. And so in which case you don't want to even consume it. Now you could get it in a pill form. There's something called Digest formula. Has it in powder form. That might be better, but if you react to it, then your system is sensitive and you might need to do more of the wheatgrass juice powder for a while to help heal the system and then go back to it. But you know, people that have inflammation in the stomach or an ulcer, that takes a long time to heal, Karen. It could take probably 4 to 6 months of healthy eating. So yeah, so you just give it time.
Okay, I have another interesting question here.
Yeah, go ahead. Just
what?
Give me the interesting ones. I want some interesting
Not
questions.
the same questions. The interesting ones.
Yeah, give me the
This is
interesting ones.
interesting. I don't think we've ever had this question before. Does smoking pipe tobacco affect results on keto?
Well, the thing about pipe tobacco or even cigarettes, you're basically you're going to deplete the adrenal factors and also a lot of vitamin C, and it creates a lot of oxidation in the tissues. So
What is oxidation?
It's breakdown and destruction of the tissues of the arteries and the eyes, and it's kind of corrodes and oxidizes, like rusting out the inside of the body. So you literally, if you're doing that, you're going to have to counter that with eating really, really healthy foods. A lot of vitamin C, B vitamins to counter the damage. Because it adds another layer of destruction to the body. So
when you say a lot, are you talking about really doing keto the way everybody else is doing keto, or do you mean doing keto and then additional supplements on top of that?
You might want to do additional supplements on top of that. A lot of phytonutrients, like the lady was doing the kale shakes, right? You should be like, I would start, if I was addicted, craving tobacco, I would be downing kale shakes each day. I would be doing supplements to counter that because it is a factor. It just depletes you of nutrients.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, Karen.
Fair enough. Dr.
Good,
Berg.
Karen.
Okay, over to you.
All right, good. Let's go to Christy from North Carolina. You had a question about high levels of glucose.
Yeah, you did a great video a few weeks ago about keto and high glucose. That was a big relief to me. Mid-May, I started stalling with weight, and my blood sugar, it had been, and I'd been doing keto since March. When I started doing that, my blood sugars have gotten down to like the 80s, 90 range, and I didn't measure before keto, so I don't know where they were then. I do have a history of family diabetics as well. But about 6 weeks ago, my weight loss stalled, and my blood sugar shot up to 138. And now it's staying around like 110 or whatever. So I assume it's my insulin healing. But will this cause weight loss stall? And you said it could take a long time. How long is a long time? I know it's different for everybody, but
So
how long am I looking at to get back
Right.
to my normal range?
Well, let me ask you this, Christy. Do you have other positive indicators, like other positive benefits, even though your sugar's high? Do you have other improvements in your body?
I've been kind of, even my my waist measurement's been just kind of sticking around the same right now.
Okay. Do you crave sweets?
I do.
Okay. Are you doing keto? And I don't have time to go into the exact thing, but do you feel like you're doing it correctly, or are you doing it partially?
I think I'm doing it, well, for a little while I was doing water kefir, and I just cut that out because it's fermented with sugar, and I thought maybe that was messing me up, but for the last few weeks I've been pretty strict again.
And are you doing intermittent fasting?
Yes.
Okay. Are you, how many times, when's your first meal?
Usually around, I usually do about 18 to 22 hours fasted.
Wow. And
eating around 1 o'clock.
Okay. All right. So are you doing any type of B vitamins or nutritional yeast and electrolytes?
When I remember. That's a bad habit that I have of forgetting.
Okay. Well, just a couple tips here, Christy. I think you're on the right track. I think the fact that you're craving tells us there's something that we need to improve. The biggest thing I look at is, are you doing it correct? Are you sure you're doing it based on what I talk about? You know, are you doing a lot of greens? Are you not, make sure you're not doing enough protein? Are you doing enough fat? So I like the intermittent fasting, but there's always these hidden things like the water kefir that might be an issue. That being said, what happens when you do this? Your insulin starts coming down because the need for insulin is not there because there's not a lot of carbohydrates in the diet to deal with. So you don't need the amount of insulin that you would when you're eating high glucose and sugar. So what happens is that because the insulin is not there, which is a push down wave, your sugars do rebound a little bit higher. But it's not out of control. I mean, they're a little higher, but it's not terrible. So I think you're in the process of healing. I would tweak it with the nutrition consistently. I have a lot of other things in the videos of what you can do with exercise, get a little more sleep, decrease stress, add some other supplements in there. And then that's going to speed things up a lot. Maybe another 3 or 4 weeks and you should see some really good change. The other thing is keep a log of what you eat so you can look at it and evaluate it in a new unit of time so you can kind of like step outside yourself and go, oh, that's what I'm eating. I didn't realize that, you know. That's also important. So stay tuned. There'll be more videos on that as well, Christine. So thanks for calling.
Dr. Berg.
Yes?
We have a special watcher.
Uh-oh.
Guess who's watching?
Who?
Your mom.
Hey, Mom. How you doing? Give you a shout out.
Everybody on Facebook is saying hello to Marge.
Oh, that's great.
I know. I just thought that was special.
That's awesome.
Now I'm going to segue.
Okay, good. Segue.
Okay, so someone's getting cystic acne or describing their situation as cystic acne newly on intermittent fasting. What's happening?
Well, there's 2 reasons for that. Typically, it's the insulin is high and your skin should get better with intermittent fasting. But if you're going through autophagy, which is the recycling of old proteins and clearing out of microbes, it could be a little bit of a detox reaction. The other thing it could do, Karen, is affect your ovaries. And that could actually then throw up the hormones and give you a little acne. So what I would recommend is probably support the ovaries with more iodine. Sea kelp would be the best thing. And fat-soluble vitamins, make sure your diet is really good to support the ovary, because the ovary needs supporting.
Good.
Okay?
Hey, I wanted to say something that I've forgotten to say for several weeks now, is that this year, doing keto purely, well, not as much as Dr. Berg, right? But really doing keto, I had almost no seasonal allergies.
Wow.
How about
that's
that?
Awesome.
Ding, ding for me.
That's good, Karen. That's awesome.
Yeah. So if
This
you
is
guys
awesome.
or you have kids that are having trouble with allergies, I really recommend it. And we did get a couple of questions on teens and little guys doing keto. How many vegetables, how many cups of vegetables would you recommend, and how to adapt it for a little guy? You want to talk about that real quick?
With the kid, I'm going to actually do a whole program for kids and even a seminar. But you start out finding something that they like, some vegetable, and you start giving them more of that. But here's the thing: when you actually get a child get them replace the junk, and don't even tell them that there's no sugar in it. Start making these keto bombs and little cookies and low sugar. And then what happens when their blood sugars are better? They're naturally going to go for more vegetables. If you have a child that's way out of balance and eating junk, they're only going to crave one thing,
right.
And that's
sugar.
The chicken wing. No, the chicken tenders. That's all they'll consume. They'll like the chicken tenders.
They'll like
and
the
Jell-O.
chicken tenders.
Yeah.
And Jell-O. That was you, right, Marge? Green Jell-O, Doritos, and chicken tenders.
Yeah. So once you get your body in balance, you'll want healthier foods. That's just how it works. Yeah, and it's interesting because when people eat a lot more junk food, even though they're eating a lot more quantity of junk food, they're still hungry after that because of the issue. So you have a kid doing that, it's just out of control. And I want to, just on that note, Karen,
Yeah.
we are seriously thinking about, probably definitely going to be doing a keto summit in the fall. We want you to come out.
The Keto Summit.
We want you to come out because, number one, it's going to be an awesome 2-day event, maybe a 1-day, maybe 2, we'll see.
DC's awesome. If you've never
Well,
been to DC.
that's the second thing I was going to tell Karen.
It's just, yeah, okay, go ahead.
In the fall, if you've never been here, you have to check out this
Everything.
area. It's gorgeous. They have things to see, history, Old Town. You also have these vineyards, which you're not probably going to drink at, but you can go check them out. I mean, there's a lot of things to do.
There are tons, I mean, it's
You'll
obviously
and of course, if
tons
you're
of
living here,
history,
you
and
don't.
it's beautiful fall.
You don't go out and see these things. But if you're coming in from the outside, you got to check it out. That way, you come to the convention. This we call it a summit.
A summit.
And
okay.
then spend a couple days to go to Old Town, check out the different tours they have.
Yeah, we could probably even arrange buses or something, right?
I think they can arrange that.
Wouldn't that be fun? No, we could arrange like a big, what do you call it? The big bus.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, Karen. Okay. We're going to get a Gelco bus and travel around, and I'll be driving.
Right.
But we'll stay tuned. We'll have a promo on that soon.
Okay. We're going to figure it
I
out.
can just see this. Karen's like promising on these things. We get there like, no, we're not going to do the Gelco bus. Okay, so we have Constantine from Kentucky.
It's Constance.
Constance. Okay. Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing pretty good. But I have a couple of questions. Okay. I do intermittent fasting and keto, and I only eat once a day. And I'm 254 pounds. I have lost, I want to say 10 pounds already. But I want to know exactly how many carbs and protein and calories do I need to consume a day if I only eat once a day.
Got it.
And also whatever, is pickles okay to eat? You know what I'm saying? While you on the keto diet and like the exercise wise, I want to do more than just walking. But is it safe to do more than just walking? Like, can I do more exercise? Like, because I got a gym membership and I want to know if I can, you know, go to the gym and really do like some cardio to help with the weight loss. And then I don't take any vitamins but prenatal pills, so I want to know, do I need to take more, you know what I'm saying, of other, you know, and then also, I'm trying to get it all in, I'm sorry. I have, I brought online this Neosil super powder collagen, and I don't know if it's good or not, but I want to know if that's healthy, and then the Heather's tummy fiber, because they said it helps with the constipation, and then like the BioSeal is like a aid.
So I think you exceeded the one question. Remember, you're supposed to call and give me one question? So you're like taking all the questions from everyone.
Hey, she's
like
efficient.
This could be another 20 minutes.
And I think that was all in one breath, wasn't it? That was good, girl. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just kind of go through this because you've exceeded the number one question. Okay, so yeah, to get into all the calories, I'm going to, here's the thing, there's videos on that. You can find the video on the different calories. I mean, at your size, maybe you do 1,500 calories. If you're doing one meal, it's going to be hard, but I would try to do maybe between 1,300 to 1,500 calories for that one meal. I like the fact that you're doing one meal. As far as the carbs, try to push them down as low as you can. I mean, if you can get them down to 15, maybe even 10, it might be hard. If you could, what would happen, you would lose more weight. Pickles are totally fine, just make sure it doesn't have sugar. Don't do the prenatals if they're synthetic. Do a food-based prenatal, okay? And then you asked another question that I can't even, oh, exercise, yeah. Yeah, you could totally add the exercise in there to speed things up other than walking. I have videos on that, so I'm not gonna actually repeat that. Watch the videos. And then the collagen is fine, you can do that. You can add that to the mix. Make sure you have it with the meal. And then the last question, I can't read my handwriting. Oh, fiber. Get your fiber from your vegetables, okay? All your 7 cups of vegetables. All right. You exceeded for the next 3 weeks of answers, so
hey, I respect
that's all for you.
A woman who can get 20 questions
that was
in
fast.
one breath. She is on my list. I like her. But
Good.
I have a question here
Yeah,
from
go ahead.
Patricia. is asking why would she be so jumpy? Like if somebody comes in a room and she's not expecting it, or walks up behind her, totally jumpy, high nerves.
I mean like this, like that?
Yeah.
So that's usually a dominating sympathetic nervous system, Karen.
Okay, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, that's an adrenal thing. So you want to support the adrenals, and the biggest thing that I would recommend is nutritional yeast, a lot of it, because that's the B1 to help the adrenals chill out. And then do the adrenal acupressure tool thing right here. You can do that every night before you go to bed. It kind of starts calming the adrenals to get more sleep, but it's an overactive adrenal issue. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Okay.
Now we're going to go to Karen from Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Karen.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Dr. Berg, for taking my call.
Sure.
I kind of need to give you just a little history of myself, and then I want to let you kind of guide me into where I need to start with your program. I started out.
Can you summarize it in 20 seconds?
Oh, goodness.
Because
Probably not.
Because all we can do is answer quick questions.
I have Addison's disease.
Okay.
And I've had a partial lung removal, and then I just now had my gallbladder removed about a couple of weeks ago. It was full of gallstones, and I'm just kind of left as to where do I start, because I used to go like every week to the hospital to get fluids, because my sodium was getting down to 120s, 125, that kind of range, and I'd just eat salt to try to keep it up. And my endocrinologist has me on Cortef and Florinef. The Florinef I take in the morning and at night, 0.1. And then the Cortef, he kind of lets me guide myself as to how I'm doing. But when I first started all this, and I still don't have any appetite.
Okay, so let me just.
It was easy.
Let me give you some. Let me give you some general tips. Simply because I can't actually tell you how to treat a disease, but I'm going to give you some food tips and nutrition tips to support what's going on. Okay, because Addison's is a low adrenal. It's the adrenals are not putting out their hormones, so it's different than Cushing's, which is pumping out too much. So that's what's happening. It's usually autoimmune, so it's an immune problem. I think to support a healthy adrenal function, my adrenal fatigue formula might really help you to support that. In addition, the gallbladder formula, because you don't have a gallbladder, to support what's missing. Those two things I think would be good. And yes, a lot of sea salt are going to be good. Working on the adrenal, because the thing about the Addison's is like you need these adrenal support. So, and you're going to need a lot more salt because it's kind of going right through you. So I would take something called adrenal fatigue formula. That's for like someone that has really fatigued adrenals. And then sea salt, and also do keto intermittent fasting hardcore, because that's going to help your immune system over time to support that, because that's what's behind the Addison's. Okay? Thanks, Karen. I'm sorry I had to go short with you there. All right, so Karen, do we have a question?
There are so many questions. We're really having a good time on social media today. And Liz is watching. Hi, Liz.
Hey, Liz.
Okay.
Liz the one that worked for us for...
No, Liz Clapp.
Oh, hey, Liz.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Liz is doing great.
Yes. Blood sugars are doing better.
Yes. Okay. Here's one. Are oats useful?
Yes, for cattle and different farm animals.
I felt you going in that direction.
Yeah, so you have the oat, which is like you can make Quaker's oat instant cereal, which comes with a lot of sugar. It's whole grain, but they add a lot of sugar in there. It's just, don't get me started on that.
I know.
But here's the thing: the oats are grains, and we don't, on the keto, we don't want to do grains because they're high on the glycemic index.
Same with buckwheat, by the way. Somebody asked about buckwheat.
Same thing. You don't want to do all the grains, unless it says heart healthy whole grains on the box of Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms, heart
then
healthy.
It's healthy.
Right.
That's my sarcasm, everyone. Okay,
right.
so
Hey, so this comes up all the time. Trying not to take repeat questions, but I think this pushes one of your buttons here. What happens when you have high insulin but low blood sugar?
Boy, you're pushing my buttons now,
I'm pushing
Karen.
your buttons now.
Well,
let it rip, Dr. Berg.
That's what happens is high insulin is going to push your blood sugars down. You're going to end up with low blood sugars, especially if there's not a lot of adrenal function there, because the adrenals aren't helping you. So that's usually a weak adrenal. But it's a very simple solution. Follow this book, these two books, and problem solved.
Dr. Berg, is there any book you recommend to help?
No, I don't have any book to recommend. But what happens, I have a list of all the things that you can do to help support healthy insulin levels. And I mean, it really does work. And high insulin is the #1 problem out there that's behind a lot of problems. And that's all I'm going to say, Karen.
Right.
But I do want to go
to...
to...
This is for educational purposes only.
Only for educational purpose. It's not meant to diagnose anyone or cure anyone. We don't cure anyone. If you get cured, don't mention my name.
Right.
Okay, Vincent from the UK, you had a question.
Yes. My question was, I have a testicular cyst, and it's becoming quite intrusive and painful. And I'm curious if there's anything I can do within my diet to reduce it in size or hopefully remove it completely. The only other options I've been offered are surgical options, and I would rather not go there.
Got it. Here's just some ideas that you can research, okay? That's my way of a roundabout telling you what to do. But here's the thing that I would research. There's something called IP6. It's an inositol product, IP6, that is really good for the immune system. So research that, IP6. And also I would recommend taking sea kelp. Sea kelp is really good to help balance things in the body. And then I would definitely hardcore get on healthy ketosis and intermittent fasting. Reevaluate with the help of your doctor in about 2 months and see what happens. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else. Thanks, Vincent. All right. So Rachel, you've been waiting a long time. You're from Texas. Go ahead. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh, hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Hello, Miss Karen.
Hi.
First, I just had to tell you, I'm so excited. I just got your keto kit, and I just want to tell you, I guess as a someone who's tried it, you know, I'm sure a lot of people have too, but your electrolyte powder, I don't get 4,700 grams or milligrams, whatever it is, of potassium. But I try to with the vegetables, but I haven't gotten the full amount. Well, I was a little over yesterday, 5,038. But my energy was off the charts, and I was so happy for no reason.
That's awesome.
And I have struggled. I've struggled with depression, and it's all right there in your potassium.
Wow.
Awesome.
You know, it's funny you said that.
Isn't that what you all say?
Yeah, well, what's so funny is like a lot of people, they'll say I'm depressed, but you know what? Sometimes they're exhausted. I mean, try to be depressed when you have a lot of energy. Just try it. Like when you have a lot of energy and try to just be depressed, it's almost impossible. So when you bring your energy up, it brings the mood up. And also the electrolyte with the potassium helps insulin resistance, which actually brings your mood up. And plus all the cells need potassium for energy. But go ahead, sorry.
Yes, no, it's fine, Dr. Berg. You can interrupt anytime. But I'm the one that called you last week. I'm type 1 diabetic, so I don't produce insulin.
Wow.
Your diet is phenomenal. You are wonderful. And also, but I wanted to say, I don't think I was been on the phone so long on hold that I don't even think I'm asking the question I wanted to ask you. Now that I'm on the phone, I just wanted to tell you that I've been wanting to do the intermittent fasting, start at 10 and go till like 6. But I wake up kind of hungry, you know, and it's kind of hard. But now that I have to take about a little over 24 ounces of water to take with my 16 ounces for my electrolyte powder and my 8 ounces for my raw wheat grass juice, and then my more water for my nutritional yeast horse pill, you know, it keeps me till 10. I can start my eating at 10.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome.
You're a
And
riot.
I just don't know how to do it. I love y'all. I want to know, how am I supposed to eat 1,500 calories? That's just too many in 6 hours.
Eat what you can, do what you can, because when you're doing intermittent fasting, the quantity of food goes down. Because think about it, you're not just eating those calories, your body is eating your own fat calories. So if you're losing a couple, let's say you lose a pound a week, that's another 3,500 calories that you're eating on top of your regular meals. Yeah, you're eating that. Your body's eating that. So that's awesome. Thanks, Rachel. All right, let's go to Samira from Belgium. Go ahead, Samira.
Cool.
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Thank you for taking my call. I want to ask you something. I have a problem with digestion. It's been 3 years. I am being on a lot of fruit and vegetables. Only in the beginning, I went fully raw in the beginning, and it felt so good. I kept going on, and I could eat sometimes meat, but nowadays, the last year, it always went weaker and weaker. My digestion has gone really weak. I don't know what I have done. My liver is so congested, and I have tried a lot of herbs, a lot of things, and I'm actually underweight, and I'm losing more weight the last days because I don't observe any food at all. Only thing I can eat is fruit and vegetables, but I wonder if my gallbladder has some damage after being on kind of a little bit low fat. But now fat is just gives me problem. I don't know how to get back to the normal again.
Let me tell you what to do. You ready?
And a lot of histamine, allergies, and a lot of problems, sleep problems, and losing weight every day, and not be able to digest without digestive enzymes.
So get some paper out. I'm going to tell you what to do right now, okay? So here's what you do. Number one, you probably need to support the gallbladder with some bile salts, okay? You're taking enzymes, but you need bile salts. Take it after the meal. That'll slowly start building up your bile reserves, because what causes lack of bile is low-fat diets. Saturated fats increase the production of bile. You probably depleted it, and now you're trying to eat, you can't do it. And especially if you're doing keto intermittent fasting, if you're not eating enough fats, you're going to even lose more weight. So I think that's what you're missing. You're going to have to cut out the fruit and start adding a little more slowly, more fat, maybe some fermented vegetables, but that's what you're running into right now, unfortunately. So a couple things you could do to also support the liver and gallbladder. Well, you're in Belgium, so that would be hard to order a couple products, but if you find purified bile salts and choline, those two together, I think that's going to be the icing on the cake. I'm sure I shouldn't talk about icing. So go ahead and do that and let us know in a couple weeks. Give us a call back. Hey, Jerry, you've been holding for a bit. How you doing? You're from Los Angeles.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
Okay, thanks for your time. So my question is, I've been on keto for about 9 weeks and lost about 40+ pounds.
Awesome.
But recently I take, thank you. But recently I take, when I take MCT oil, it irritates my gallbladder and pancreas.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Got it. Yeah, that's one of the challenges sometimes with these oils, especially like MCT oil. It is a refined food because it's out of the normal complex of a coconut. So you're eating that much, it forces the pancreas to pump out a lot of enzymes, lipase, to try to break that down. So if your pancreas is already weak, you can kind of irritate it. So I would do this, Jerry. I would consume your fats within the normal whole food that you're eating, whether it's animal protein or cheese or avocados. Like, don't add extra oil. Just eat the fats within the food that you have, and then add the vegetables in there too. Give it time for the pancreas to kind of recover. And I think that's all you need to do. And on that note, don't forget to download this index right here. Stay tuned for more videos coming up. Right, Karen?
Yes, absolutely.
And have a great weekend, guys. We will see you next week.
Wow, that was fast.
Friday.
Okay.